scary tonight. Tonight was filled with great wrestling. Tonight was filled with scares, and I don't mean that in a good way. Tonight was filled with basically the same thing that I've been saying about this new version of NXT. Tonight was mid. NXT Halloween Havoc, live from the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. The same place that we see NXT every single week. Shawn Michaels said on a press conference before this show that it was going to be a turning point for NXT. Some of it made me want to turn the channel off. I'm not sure about a turning point for the brand. The ladder match, fantastic. Couldn't have asked for anything better. Everybody brought it to the ladder match. The main event, Bron Breakker, the fake JD, by the way, okay? Just want to make sure you guys are aware. The fake JD. McDonagh and Ilja Dragonov killed it. Fantastic main event. Takeover-worthy main event. Everything else in between, I don't know if we got to start blaming Shawn Michaels, man. I love to blame Bruce. But if we got to blame Shawn Michaels, man, we're going to rip him a new asshole from now on. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to the OTS venue. It's going to be a slow night because let's be real. I mean, just like this NXT brand, nobody gives a fuck. I'm going to the OTS venue. I got my cold beverage. What the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll see you over there.
Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking.
Guys, thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your NXT mid-XT post-show for October 22nd, 2022. I am your host, JD from New York. As always, coming to you live from the OTS venue. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on your Saturday evenings. Wherever you may be, man, this is the official Halloween Havoc NXT post show on OTS. What's going on with those Yankees, man? What happened? The Yankees, 100-win team. The Dodgers, they won over 110 games. The Braves won the division in the last week of the season. 100 wins. Mets, 100 wins. All eliminated. Now, the Yankees aren't eliminated yet. I know. Listen, I know. But let's be real. They ain't beating the Astros in 4 straight games. I don't know what it is with Houston, man. I don't know what it is with the Astros. This is what it's going to be their 4th World Series in 6 years. And why are the Phillies so hot, bro? I don't get it. It must be all those cheesesteaks, right? All those, what's the cheesesteak to go? It ain't Geno's, right? It ain't Geno's. Geno's sucks, man. Well, what's the cheesesteak of choice in Philadelphia now? I don't go to fucking Philadelphia, man. What a shithole. What a shithole Philadelphia is, man. Listen, I don't get what's going on. The season, to me, looks rigged. That's all I have to say about that. I wish NXT was as rigged as the Houston Astros series against the Yankees, man. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm tired of complaining. You know, there are going to be people out there that thoroughly enjoy this show. There are going to be people out there that thoroughly enjoy this show. I don't even know why I'm here. I try. Desperately, I try to enjoy this show. And basically, 20% of the show I enjoy, and then the other 80%, I'm on my fucking phone playing Pokemon Go. You want to know what I did during most of this show? I leveled up my Chandelure. Look, there you go. I leveled up my Chandelure to 3111. There you go. And I got him Poltergeist as his main attack. Look, that's what I was doing during fucking NXT, okay? Playing Pokemon Go, leveling up my Chandelure. You see this? This is what I'm doing during NXT. It's great. It's a great fucking time to be a fan of NXT, man. It's unbelievable. I don't get it. Do we really need to start blaming Shawn Michaels? I'd love to know. Do we really need to start blaming Shawn Michaels? Because this can't be the best that HBK has for NXT. Do we need to blame Shawn? Is Bruce still running the show? Does Shawn Michaels need new writers? I don't get it. Do we need new writers down in NXT? I'll throw my name into the hat, man. I'd love to visit Florida a couple of times a month, man. Get the fuck out of New York City. It's a shithole up here. I'll fly down to I'll work for fucking free, man. Just buy me a nice pumpkin cold brew. A pumpkin cream cold brew at Star. I'll work for free, man. I'll fucking give you my ideas. I'll tell you what you need to do and what you don't need to do. This show sucks. In all honesty, in typical NXT fashion, show opens up strong, show closes strong, and then everything in between is basically unimportant, uninspired, and just very basic. No interest, nothing there. Show started off incredible. I'm like, holy shit, this is black and gold worthy. This shit is black and gold worthy, man. This ladder match tonight, if you missed it, it's literally one of two things that I urge you to go out and watch. The ladder match was fucking incredible. It was a little... I don't want to take anything away from the guys that worked the match. I mean, it was a little bump heavy. I mean, they really went out there and wanted to desperately set the tone. That's the vibe that I got from this ladder match. They desperately wanted to set the tone for the rest of the show. Ultimately, they did not, because there was nothing on this show that even came close to what these 5 guys did until we got to the main event with Bron Breakker, Ilja Dragonov, and the fake JD McDonagh, the Irish Ace. I'm the New York Ace. He's the Irish Ace. Even though, listen, man, I went to his country. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Everything else in between was really not all that exciting. Very, 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 very mid was the rest of the show. And that's the typical problem with a lot of what NXT does. Very top heavy, very end of the show heavy, and then everything in between is just not good. And that was the tale of the tape. That was the overall vibe of Halloween Havoc tonight that Shawn Michaels said was going to be a turning point for NXT. It's going to be one of the biggest shows. He even said it in his own words. I believe his words were to Dave LaGreca, by the way, who was on the pre-show. I don't know where the fuck these guys are coming from, but they got Sam Roberts and now Dave LaGreca on the pre-show. He said to Dave LaGreca on Busted Open Radio that Halloween Havoc is going to be the next biggest show that NXT does next to stand and deliver WrestleMania weekend, which is fine. But tonight's show did not feel like it was the second biggest show of the entire NXT calendar year, and it also did not feel like it was a turning point for the brand. It actually felt like everything else, and honestly, to me, you know, I don't really give a shit about what anybody else thinks because most of the time, and this same thing happened when I was incredibly high on NXT. Nobody watched Black and Gold. You all wanted to jump on the bandwagon when it started to get hot. So I understand the fucking mid mentality in the IWC and the mediocrity that fucking dwells in the IWC. These people are fucking tickled and amused by the fucking most mediocre bullshit that they see on TV. I mean, people were fucking going crazy over Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade as if they were the two ladies that went out there and had the best women's match in the fucking history of pro wrestling. I mean, these people fucking sicken me to no end. It wasn't all that good. I'm big on Roxanne Perez. Cora Jade has done great heel work. I mean, she's still green as fucking grass, but she has a long way to go. These people are amused by the most mediocre of things in the IWC. They more than likely never watched Black and Gold, so they don't really have anything to compare when they are watching NXT. They don't know any other NXT but the NXT that we're being given right now. That's the problem. That's the issue. They don't know the Black and Gold, so when they love NXT, it's like when someone like me comes along, it's like, what the fuck are you watching? You think this is good television? Anybody with a set of eyes, with 20/20 vision and a fucking brain in their head knows that this show is not good. And if you criticize it, I don't want you guys to get all pissy at somebody. Just let them dwell in their stupidity, man. They don't know any better. They don't know any better. The right fans, the smart fans, the people that know exactly what the NXT brand did and what the brand meant to the industry and what it did for us. Some of it really ignited the passion of the WWE audience where we weren't getting that from Vince. Triple H was giving it to us. This shit sucks. This shit sucks. It's basically Triple H and his team running Monday night and Friday night like the old NXT, and Shawn Michaels is running NXT as some fucking homage to Vince McMahon. That's exactly what it feels like to me. Standouts tonight. The ladder match. The main event. That was it. Everything else in between, like I said, was really just there, and it did not interest me whatsoever. There are a couple of decisions that we're going to talk about tonight. Most notably, the ladder match. Wes Lee is now the new North American champion. I have no problem with that. I think Wes Lee is fantastic, even though I think it's well beyond its expiration now, where Nash Carter should be back in the WWE and MSK should be back in WWE, and they should graduate to the main roster because they're that fucking good. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. Nash Carter's doing his own thing. He's working the indies. I believe he's doing some work with Impact. Nobody watches Impact, man. Don't get me started. But Wes Lee is the new North American champion, and he's fucking great. I have no problem with him winning. I actually thought it was going to go to Nathan Frazer. I think he himself, we're going to praise Nathan Frazer a little bit tonight, man. I wasn't really big on Nathan Frazer. I didn't really know of him. I knew of him, but I didn't really know how good he was because I didn't watch NXT UK. As soon as he came over to NXT here in the States, it was like, all right, here's another guy that's really got a small ceiling. And this is when Vince was still in charge. He's absolutely transcended past all of those roadblocks. And with Triple H in charge and him being a Seth Rollins student, because Seth Rollins trained him, it's going to be the world in his hands type of situation with Nathan Frazer, man. He really stood out to me tonight. And he has stood out. I mean, I have watched NXT, and the third match in that string of matches he had with Axiom on the Tuesday night show, that was great. He qualified by beating Axiom to even get into this ladder match. Nathan Frazer is great. I think he's got one of the best entrances as well, one of the best theme songs in all of WWE. His entrance is fucking great. He's just got that vibe. If he can just tone the cheesy kind of character he has back when he's cutting a promo, if he can scale that back a little bit, I think we're working with a major breakout guy in the WWE in Nathan Frazer, okay? Or Ben Carter. Some people don't even like the name Nathan Frazer. He was the former Ben Carter. If you guys remember, Tony Khan really made a strong play for him to join AEW, and WWE lured him away to join NXT UK. But he is absolutely fucking brilliant. He's got it. Wesley, he's been great. I mean, he's kind of floated in a sea of mediocrity for the past several months. Directionless. He didn't really know where he was going to go. He won the North American Championship tonight. Carmelo Hayes seemingly on his way out. There's no reason why Carmelo Hayes is going to stick around in NXT. He does not need a world championship. He does not. He's at a point right now where you just get that sense he's overstayed his welcome in NXT. He's not the guy to beat Bron Breakker. He's not going to win a world championship. He's well beyond this brand right now. He's well beyond the world championship. You put that guy on SmackDown, you put him on Monday Night Raw, he's going to be a made man. That's where he belongs. He doesn't belong in this fucking child's playground known as NXT 2.0 anymore, okay? So he's as good as gone. That's my honest opinion with him. Then we got this Oro Mensah. He was the only guy in this match that I didn't really think was going to win the ladder match. And he didn't really do a lot to impress me tonight. He took several bumps that were a little rough out there, but there was no way anybody thought he was going to win this match after he just kind of emerged upon the scene on NXT. He's been there for, what, a cup of coffee and maybe a bite of a scone on NXT. That's about it. So there was no way anybody was thinking he was going to win the North American Championship tonight. And my boy, Von Wagner, man. You know, we were pretty rough on Von Wagner when we started watching NXT 2.0. Who the fuck is this guy? What's a Von Wagner? Put the lotion in the basket. He looks like Buffalo Bill from fucking Silence of the Lambs. I'm just waiting for Clarice to break down the goddamn fucking door. He's grown on me so much, Von Wagner. I don't know what had happened in between the time we seen him from day one up until when we see him now, but he has a really, really good look. I got to praise WWE. They fixed what definitely needed to be fixed with Von Wagner. They gave him a look. They gave him some badass theme music. Robert Stone is there with him. I don't really think he needs Robert Stone. I think he could upgrade from Robert Stone. I think he does need a mouthpiece, does Von Wagner, but he's done very well. He's cut some promos for himself, short but sweet promos. That's where he excels. And he's very good in the ring. And he's going to continue to get better. So, you know, I know a lot of us kind of shit on Von Wagner early on, but I don't think it was his fault. I actually did feel bad for him at one point because it seemed like they didn't know what to do with him. And now they seemingly have him on the right path, and he looked fucking great in this match tonight. I mean, he was such a beast in this match, and I'm really enjoying the work that he's doing. So he's playing that role of upper mid-card, teasing about a main event type of level. And I think he's going to be great. You know, if he's the one to take down Bron Breakker, I would not be surprised. I really would not be surprised. I said this from day one. It's going to be Von Wagner and Bron Breakker for the NXT World Championship. And they were, when they were starting him off, they were about to build him up as a big-time heel on NXT. And I even said it way back when. I would not be shocked if it comes down to it and Breakker needs to lose the championship. He's going to lose that championship to Von Wagner. So I thought he did fantastic tonight, and I thought all these guys absolutely killed it in this match. So we'll talk about that. And then in the main event, we got Bron Breakker, Ilja Dragonov, and McDonagh. This match started off a little slow. It seemed the crowd didn't fully invest themselves into the match until we got maybe, I would say, till the last 8 or 9 minutes or so. Things started to pick up quite nicely, and it was Just a frantic pace, big moves all over the place, incredibly close, believable near falls. I thought Dragonov had the match won. One of the best near falls I've seen all year, with Dragonov hitting his finishing move. And then McDonagh sliding in at really what was the last millisecond before the referee's hand came down and hit the mat and stopped the referee's 3 count, basically stopping the match, continuing the match. And that gave Bron Breakker the time to get himself situated and win the match with his big spear on Ilja Dragonov, and that was it. I said this on social media. I think all 3 guys are ready for a main roster, but, I mean, we can't start pulling everybody from NXT. Bron Breakker, I will say this before we jump into the review. I honestly think him and Mandy Rose, both Mandy Rose and Bron Breakker as champions, are incredibly fucking stale. I don't think Mandy Rose should have retained her championship tonight against Alba Fyre. I don't think Bron Breakker should have retained his championship against Ilja Dragonov and McDonagh. I honestly think that WWE is turning the wheel over and over and over again, and it's not really doing Bron Breakker and Mandy Rose any good. And I will jump into why I think Mandy Rose and Bron Breakker should have lost their championships a little bit later on when we talk about this post-show. And Ilja Dragonov, I mean, he is so beyond this fucking child's brand, this playground of fucking amateurs. He is so beyond this shit. Him and McDonagh are. Let's be honest. But Ilja Dragonov is basically the NXT version of what Walter was to NXT before Vince and Bruce fucking completely demolished the brand. He is so beyond this brand, it's not even fucking a topic of discussion right now. He should be on the main roster mixing it up with Sheamus and Ricochet and Gunther and Drew McIntyre, and he should be fighting for the Intercontinental Championship amongst the big hosses on SmackDown. That's how good Ilja Dragonov is. And the reason why this match was as good as it was because Ilja Dragonov was in the match. Without Ilja, it would have been a 3-star main event. With Ilja in there, it was easily a 4.5. And that's how good he is. He does not belong on this brand. He transcends this brand beyond anybody that I've seen in recent memory. He does not need to be there. Him and Carmelo Hayes no longer need to be there. So we'll talk about that and everything else in between. We had Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade tonight in a weapons wild match, whatever the fuck that is. Basically, it's an Extreme Rules match. But WWE wants to be cute with their fucking words and their terminology. And then we got an ambulance match with one of the Creed, Julius Creed, against Damon Kemp, who is the brother of Gable Steveson. Which wasn't bad, but I can't bring myself to care about 2 guys in a mid-card faction that legitimately nobody gives a shit about outside of Julius and Brutus Creed. I'm sorry. The overall show wasn't a bad show. It's just not a good show. It's not exciting enough to be NXT. And I know I'll get shit on, and I'll get called negative, and it is what it is, but listen, you don't want to hear the fucking truth? I don't fucking care. Go watch somebody else fucking bullshit to you about how good this show is. All I know is, if you say it's good, I know you didn't fucking watch the old NXT because there's no fucking comparison. Thank you guys very much for joining me tonight, man. We're going to get into all this shit. $1,400 in the venue. People are still filing on in. Should be a decent evening. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, man. I need 1,000 likes minimum on the post show. 1,000 likes is the goal. Super chats are open. Get them on in. Memberships are always open. Get them on in. Always accepting applications to the VIP club. Always. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. If you missed today's podcast, which is already at 11,000 views and climbing, which is great, go check it out. Hour and a half, we dove into the CM Punk discussion. Is Tony Khan set to buy out CM Punk? Is Triple H really interested in bringing back CM Punk if that is the case? And I dive headfirst into everything about that, including Chris Jericho and him signing a new AEW contract. Thunder Rosa, more problems with Thunder Rosa as she blasted the women's locker room on Busted Open Radio. And we talk about everything else coming out of AEW this week. I also talk about Adam Hangman Page and the concussion and my thoughts on it, because I did see it from Dynamite on Tuesday. So go check that out. It's on the homepage right now. Literally the first thing that you see when you get there. Go check it out if you missed it earlier today. I know everybody was busy watching the Yankees and watching the Phillies, and it's there for you. Go check it out. Make sure you guys check out my sponsor for today's show as well, man. Today we're sponsored by Honey. Join honey.com/offthescripts. Download the free web browser using our unique link and start saving some money with Honey. I want to thank Honey for once again sponsoring the show right here on OTS. And tomorrow, we'll have yet another podcast. Today, we talked about AEW. Tomorrow, we talk WWE. I'll go over all the WWE news and rumors for the week tomorrow afternoon, man. So make sure you guys look out for that. Busy week. I just got back from Ireland. I missed a lot. It was a busy news week, but I'm trying to get caught up myself so you guys have everything you need coming out of Off the Script. So look forward to that as well tomorrow afternoon. Let's start at the top, man. We start with the guest hosts of the show. Shotzi Blackheart, who was fantastic. Shotzi looked great tonight. She saved most of these segments that she was in with the make-believe King Mabel out there. Viscera. His name is, what is Viscera, right? Oh, Quincy Elliott. I'm sorry. You know, he's so terrible that he mimics himself off of fucking Viscera. Big Daddy V, right? That's what he comes off as. So terrible that he's mimicking himself off of one of the worst professional wrestlers of the modern era, Big Daddy V. Great. First thing I got to see watching NXT Halloween Havoc is Quincy Elliott. Great job. We move on from the one half of the terrible guest hosts, and we move on to the ladder match. 5-man ladder match. Oro Mensah, Nathan Frazer, Wesley, Von Wagner, and Carmelo Hayes for the North American Championship. All this contested in a ladder match to open NXT Halloween Havoc. Now, I know we see a lot of ladder matches. I know we see too many ladder matches. And we see a lot of ladder matches in WWE because they have their fucking stereotypical Money in the Bank pay-per-view every year, and then a TLC pay-per-view, and then whatever else they want to do during the year. Hopefully Triple H changes all that and gets rid of the gimmick pay-per-views. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But this was probably the best ladder match that I've seen in NXT since the NXT TakeOver New Orleans ladder match for the first ever North American Championship. That's how good this ladder match was. This was a TakeOver-worthy ladder match between these 5 guys. This was probably one of the best ladder matches that WWE has put on in general since the AJ Styles, Sami Zayn, and Jeff Hardy ladder match, 3-way ladder match that we saw several years ago for the Intercontinental Championship. I thought this ladder match was fantastic. Everybody legitimately, and I mean this, they fucking brought it to the ladder match. I thought everybody absolutely went out there trying to steal the show on this night. This was probably the most anticipated match on my NXT Halloween Havoc card. And like I said before, we got 5 guys here. Carmelo Hayes. I felt like Carmelo Hayes winning this match would have been WWE basically going back to their safe zone, giving it to who they know. I think giving it back to Carmelo would have been a step backwards, not only for the brand, it would have been a step backwards for Carmelo, and I think it would have been a step backwards for the North American Championship. So I'm actually glad that Carmelo Hayes did not win this match. Like I said about Ilja Dragonov, I think Carmelo Hayes is well beyond this fucking child's playground known as NXT. I think he's ready for the main roster. Carmelo should be mixing it up with Ricochet and Seth Rollins and guys like that on the main roster. He's going to be an absolute future of the company, and there's no reason to hold him back on NXT while he could be doing what he needs to do, making a Monday Night Raw better, making a Friday Night SmackDown better. Nathan Frazer, I talked about him. I legitimately thought he was going to win the North American Championship tonight. He literally channeled his inner Seth Rollins tonight. I saw that old Seth Rollins essence come out of him tonight. I think he's great. He's incredibly talented. He's grown on me in the last couple of weeks, and I see how good he is. Putting him in this match, coming out of that third match with Axiom on Tuesday, I thought that he was going to win this match. I really thought that he was going to come in here and win the North American Championship. He did not, but he legitimately stole most of this match with how impressive he was. So Nathan Frazer, even though he did not win the North American Championship, I do think that he really stood out, not only in this match, but overall on the entire night. Von Wagner. Von Wagner, like I said, he's come a long way from when we first seen him on NXT 2.0 in the debut show. Looking at him now, he is so much better than he was. He's got a nice vibe to him. The less he says, the better. But when he does say something, it's impactful. When he does say something, it's very quality over quantity. He's not saying too much. He's basically speaking in sound bites. And that's where he thrives, and that's where he's at his best. And I do think that he is very, very capable in the ring, and he's believable at that. And he wrestled his fucking ass off tonight. He took some sick bumps as well. So I know a lot of people, you know, and I'm partially to blame for that. We were ragging on Von Wagner, not because of how he is in the ring. I always thought he was a very good pro wrestler, and I thought he moved around well in the ring. But the name is a little silly, you know, but they repackaged him, and he's coming off like a legit badass now. And I could really appreciate that. And he's owning what he's been given. So I really appreciate what they're doing with Von Wagner. Then we got Wesley. Wesley is the story of this match because he was the one that won this North American Championship. Wesley is quite the story. To me, Wesley, him winning the championship signified, you know, we tried, we felt sorry for you. I don't know if they actually tried to get Nash Carter back in the WWE again, but it was such a sad story to see Wesley basically be punished for absolutely doing nothing. He did not do anything. It was cancel culture, and it was social media that took his partner away, his best friend away, and stalled his career for a good year. It was cancel culture because people can't get over a fucking picture that was photographed 12, 13 years ago, and they think that that is the same person that was in the photograph now. Meanwhile, Nash Carter has worked for Impact. He's worked for Sami Callihan's fucking Pro Wrestling Revolver, and he's been all over the fucking place working in the independent scene. So he can't be that terrible of a fucking guy if he is still finding a lot of work for himself. It's just the fucking cancel culture online where WWE was basically, with their backs against the wall, forced to terminate him because of the loudmouth fucking virgins online that really can't, you know, sit down and just take a chill pill. So Nash Carter was gone, and Wesley just floated around in the middle of nowhere. He's been feuding with this one. He's been feuding with that one. He's been feuding with Von Wagner, Carmelo Hayes. He's been feuding with fucking Zion Quinn. I mean, all over the place. This guy was just lost. And he won this match tonight. And I think, honestly, looking at the audience in Orlando tonight, I think everybody kind of resonates with him because I know everybody feels the same exact way about how dirty he's been done. So him winning the North American Championship might not be your first choice because you may still look at him as a tag team wrestler like I do. But that doesn't mean I'm not willing to give him a fucking chance to shine because we know how fucking good he is, Wesley. So I'm happy to see that. And that was a great story in this match. And that was basically the story of the entire night. Wesley, he really made an impact on everybody tonight in this ladder match. Went 20 minutes. Fast-paced, high action. They tried to be very different with what they did. I think everybody basically broke their back to really make a statement on this match, or in this match, I should say, on this night. Everybody kind of jockeyed for position right at the start of the match. Carmelo ran for a ladder, and then he got stopped, and everybody just kind of was brawling all over the place. Mensah backdropped Melo onto a ladder, but ran into a dropkick from Wes Lee. Wagner was on the outside. He re-entered the chaos and took out Lee with a big boot. We'll get back to Wagner and Wes Lee a little bit later. Frazer tried to take a ladder from Von Wagner, but was powerbombed into it for his troubles there. Melo then took out Wagner, climbed up a ladder, set it up, and climbed it up. In one of the best spots of the night, Frazer sent Melo crashing from the ladder with a dropkick before running right into a ladder-assisted senton from Wes Lee. Melo recovered, and Frazer countered a springboard into a Spanish fly onto the ladder. There was just chaos all over the place, big moves all over the place. One of them included Melo clotheslining Wes Lee and himself out to the floor. Mensah was left in the ring, so he was in the ring all by himself. He set up a ladder, climbed it up, and then Trick Williams met him on the other side and dumped Mensah onto everybody else who was standing around on the outside. Mensah took a nasty landing. I'm not sure if he was hurt or not. There was a situation where I thought several people were hurt on more than one occasion. All of a sudden, Robert Stone ran out and climbed. We didn't see the rest of the guys. We saw referees crawling over immediately to check on everybody else after this dive to the outside. So the camera was fixated on what was happening in the ring, and this was Trick Williams climbing up one side of the ladder and Robert Stone climbing up the other side of the ladder. So Robert Stone is up there. He and Trick were at the top of the ladder. Stone takes off his shoe and hits Trick Williams with his shoe. Now, the story here was that Trick Williams is afraid of heights. He's afraid of climbing ladders, but he was up there anyway trying to take the title down for Carmelo Hayes. I don't like interferences like this in a ladder match. I do think it takes away from the match itself with the five guys. And if you guys remember, I believe there was a stand and deliver ladder match with the same thing that happened with basically the same spot that was booked then and then again into this match. And I don't really like it. It takes away from everything that was going on with the five guys, but less in this match, more so compared to what we saw at Stand and Deliver. So he takes his shoe off, and Trick Williams is knocked off the ladder. He then overturned the ladder, sending Stone fucking springboarding off the top rope and falling to the outside. It looked like he wanted to crotch himself on the top rope and then just takes a terrible tumble to the outside. A referee immediately ran over to him to go see if he was all right. So this was basically a car crash on Halloween Havoc to open the show. So now we're back in the ring. Wagner continued to use the ladder as a weapon here. On the outside, Wagner pulled out a big ladder from underneath the ring. He inadvertently ended up hitting one of the members of the audience, a woman in the front row. I believe she cursed him out. She was barely grazed with this thing, but he was pulling out this ladder. And you know how short of a distance there is from the barricade to the ring and the, sides of the ringside area on NXT at the Performance Center. So he pulled out this huge fucking ladder, and he tried to set up a ladder bridge on the outside, and he inadvertently struck a woman who was sitting in the front row. Luckily, she looked to be okay. He set up the ladder as a bridge between the apron and the barricade. Lee then got involved, and Wagner ended up prone on the ladder. Frazer sent him through the ladder with a huge frog splash, which was one of my favorite spots of the entire match. I didn't think it was going to break, but with the weight of Von Wagner, it was a great-looking spot, and they go crashing right through the ladder. So that was great. There was another sequence of big moves in this match. Melo ended up springboarding off the barricade and hitting Wes Lee with a cannonball splash off of the steel steps. Lee then goes underneath the ring and gets another ladder. Another giant ladder enters the fray, which Von Wagner set up. Wagner press slammed Lee. This was the highlight of the entire night. This was all over social media. This was basically Keith Lee body checking Adam Cole into the fourth roll, if you guys remember that, on the old NXT Black and Gold. Von Wagner picks up Wes Lee. He's in the ring with Wes Lee, lifts him in a gorilla press over his head, and launches this fucking guy over the top rope to the announce table on the outside I thought the announce table was going to break. He goes flying off the announce table and strikes the barricade and is laying there lifeless. I thought he was out cold. I thought he was out of the match completely. Von Wagner, this is why I've praised Von Wagner. He's actually owned up to who he is now. And this spot was all Von Wagner. That's who Von Wagner needs to be. He needs to be what we saw here with how he handled Wesley. This was incredible. This was a great fucking spot. This was the spot of the night. So after Wagner basically killed Wesley, he is laying by the commentary table. Wagner climbed up. Frazer, Nathan Frazer, meets him up there and stomped him down off the ladder. Wagner got Frazer in a powerbomb position. This led to Frazer pulling Wagner out of the ring on a head scissor to the outside. Mensah took Wagner out with a huge tackle, and then he and Frazer repeatedly were double teaming Wagner, who was over the barricade at this point. They took him out. He's over the barricade. They take a small baby ladder, and they start just jamming the ladder in between this plexiglass partition and the barricade, and they start jamming the ladder down on Von Wagner and take him out of the match, and he's no longer in contention for this match. We don't see him again for the duration of this match. So they double team to get the most lethal threat out of the match, which was a smart move. Back in the ring, we got Frazer and Mensah. They're climbing to the top, and they started fighting each other over the North American Championship. Mensah eventually pushed Frazer down, but Melo showed up and pulled Mensah down. Melo climbed to the top, and it looked like Melo was going to retrieve the North American title, but Wesley, he somehow emerged from death, and there was a ladder that was set up horizontally, this huge ladder that he actually brought out from underneath the ring. This huge ladder was brought out, and it was placed horizontally up the ropes, up the ring apron, up the ropes. He ran up it, and he sprung up to Melo onto the ladder and took Melo down to the mat. They both fought for a little bit, and they were standing on a ladder bridge in the ring towards the ending of this match. Lee finally took Melo out with a Meteora onto the ladder bridge. That was enough for Lee to climb the ladder, retrieve the North American Championship, and win the North American title. Absolutely fucking chaotic match. Every single guy in this match broke their fucking back to make this memorable. I can't say anything bad about what we saw tonight. Was it a car crash? Yes. Did they take overly dangerous bumps to really get their point across? Yes. But in my honest opinion, when you have 5 guys like this, it's going to resemble a car crash. And if you got 5 guys like this who really want to make a statement about a ladder match and stamp their name in ladder match WWE history, they have to go out there and do what they did tonight, and that's exactly what they did. I tip my cap to everybody in this match. If there's one fucking match you guys got to go back and watch on this show, if you didn't watch the show, if you're going to ask me, JD, is it worth watching? You got to go back and watch this because it was every bit as good as I say it is. So go back and watch it. All 5 of these guys killed it. Congratulations to Wesley. I think he did a phenomenal job through all of the run. The short end of the stick that he was given with Nash Carter getting wrongfully fired, in my honest opinion. Him waiting it out to see where he would fit on NXT. And now that Shawn Michaels is somewhat in charge, I guess, we are getting the birth or the rebirth of Wesley. So, awesome fucking match with all 5 of these guys. Go out and watch it. Highly, highly recommended. Moving on. We got Mandy Rose and Alba Fyre. I have been very hard on NXT, and I honestly am hard on NXT for what we saw here with Mandy Rose, Toxic Attraction, and Alba Fyre. I thought we were well over this cinematic shit. This is not NXT. This is not what I want to see on a fucking pro wrestling pay-per-view that Shawn Michaels says is going to be the turning point of NXT. When you use words like that and use phrases like that, it means that you're going to go back and rest on what brought you to the dance with the fabled black and gold colors. A fucking cinematic match with vampires and zombies and people being pulled through fucking refrigerators as if it's some fucking horror movie. It's not really what I signed up for. We went from what resembled as close to black and gold as you could possibly get with the opening match. Then we all of a sudden take a trip into the 2.0 dimension with what I'm about to describe to you right here with Mandy Rose, Toxic Attraction, and Alba Fyre. There were two video vignettes that showed Alba Fyre inviting Toxic Attraction to a haunted house. It's Halloween. There's got to be haunted house. There's got to be hijinks. There's got to be cringe. There's got to be bullshit, okay? Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, and JC Jane, they get in the car. They pull out their flashlights when they get to their destination, and they arrive at a haunted house, and JC Jane was very hesitant about entering the haunted house. This reminded me of a mix of, I would say, a Wyatt family compound match or something that Dexter Lumis and Johnny Gargano did on one of those Halloween specials with NXT while they were on the NXT brand. This shit does not belong on television on a brand, supposedly that Shawn Michaels says is going to turn the corner or it's a turning point for the brand. So Toxic Attraction gets into the house and Mandy Rose suggested that they split up. Because every horror movie needs the fucking cast of characters to split up so that they're killed one by one. Right? Mandy Rose, I guess, hasn't watched a lot of horror movies in her fucking day. So they all split up, which JC Jane was very upset about before being scared by a nun who was basically stoned. Not really stoned like, I mean, puffing the magic dragon, but she was a stone nun. She was basically frozen. Or was a statue of a nun in stone. So, JC Jane was scared throughout all of her skit here, and she was terrified by everything around her. Terrible acting, including skeletons and a video playing before she was grabbed by the face because Alba Fyre appeared behind her. Gigi Dolan hung out with all the monsters, and then Chucky she saw sitting at a table. Yes, the USA Network version of Chucky, the lame Chucky, the unentertaining version of Chucky, the tame, pussy-fied version of Chucky. She's sitting down with all these monsters, and Alba Fyre attacked Gigi Dolan. Dolan was slammed, or rather, Dolan slammed Fyre into a refrigerator, and all of a sudden, this cannibal-looking individual appeared from out of nowhere. Fyre then locked Dolan in the refrigerator with the cannibal, which may lead to, I guess, Gigi Dolan being eaten by Hannibal Lecter himself. So, this is how lame and cringe this is. Gigi Dolan got pulled into a fucking refrigerator by a cannibal and then somehow appeared at the end of the show with Mandy Rose when she beat Alba Fyre for the Women's Championship. This is just as bad as the fucking Miz Zombies with Damian Priest. I'm sorry. This shit sucks. This shit sucks. If it sounds terrible, it was every bit as terrible as I'm making it out to be. So Rose is by herself now because she opted for everybody to split up. So she has nobody to blame but herself. Rose hit one of the druids that was there because she started playing a piano, and then this druid came out of nowhere, so she hit this druid in the balls. Music started playing from nowhere. I guess the piano started playing by itself. And Alba Fyre confronted Mandy Rose face to face. Mandy Rose hit her version of the V-trigger, I guess, on one of the characters that was dressed as a monster. Fyre continued to attack Rose with her baseball bat. And we see this pinhead-looking monster, this pinhead-looking creature, scaring Rose before Fyre knocked her out. Fyre saw Jane crawling before laying her and Gigi Dolan out. I thought Gigi Dolan was eaten by the cannibal. Here she is at the end of the fucking skit. So Alba Fyre invited Toxic Attraction to her haunted house before her match with Mandy Rose. And I'm sitting there watching this shit. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. Is there even a women's championship match? Did they drop the women's championship match and opt to give us some cinematic fucking F-level horror movie garbage? I don't get it. I don't get how this makes the women's championship match later important between Mandy Rose and Alba Fyre. This shit sucked. This was fucking awful. One of the worst things of the entire night. Absolutely a waste of everybody's time. So we move on from that cringe to more cringe. And we see Apollo Crews versus Greyson Waller. Now, they spun the wheel. Spin the wheel, make the deal. These two were set to have a one-on-one match. So they spin the wheel before the show actually took place on the pre-show with Dave LaGreca and fucking, what's his name? Samuel Roberts. His voice is like fucking nails on a chalkboard, bro. Apollo Crews and Greyson Waller spin the wheel, and it lands on a casket match. So we got Apollo Crews, who has nothing to do with caskets at all, and Greyson Waller, who has nothing to do with caskets at all, in a fucking casket match because it's Halloween. Because it's Halloween Havoc. Okay? So, I said this for weeks. I stopped covering NXT because, let's be real, the show sucks. I look at Greyson Waller and I look at Apollo Crews, and one of the last things I remember seeing is Greyson Waller getting his eyes gouged out by Apollo Crews after Apollo Crews dragged him underneath the ring. Now, I'm not sure why Apollo Crews moved back down to NXT. I thought he moved back down to NXT to really show what he's truly made of. Apollo Crews is a great professional wrestler. I think everybody kind of knows that. But Apollo Crews has gone to NXT, and he went from professional wrestler to basically having this gimmick where he's got supernatural powers. I don't know what the fuck. He's writing in a journal. He's getting these flashbacks. He's got supernatural powers. I don't know. His eyes keep fucking bleeding. I don't know what the fuck this is, but I am absolutely at level 0 as far as interest is concerned with Apollo Crews. Or maybe I'm just fucking stupid and I don't understand what the fuck is going on. But what I see is basically Shawn Michaels writing for Apollo Crews and Greyson Waller because he stood up one night and The Mummy with Brendan Fraser was on fucking TNT for the goddamn 800th time, and he sees Imhotep take all the fucking people that have gathered all these jars with his body parts in them, and he's taking them out one by one, and then he gets to the guys with the eyes, and he gouges their fucking eyes out, and then he takes their eyes and claims them for his own. It's basically what Shawn Michaels has written here for Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews is basically Imhotep from The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. And that was a great fucking movie. One of my favorite movies of all time. I actually enjoyed the Tom Cruise one too. Up until about halfway, I was like, man, this is much better than the original. And then it got just fucking ridiculous towards the end. And we never seen another one made. It's basically what this entire feud was built off of. The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. So we got spin the wheel, make the deal, landed on a casket match. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the only casket match, ladder match? I still got the ladder match on my mind. Is this the only casket match in the WWE history that did not include The Undertaker? Has there been anybody in WWE history that has had a casket match besides The Undertaker? I don't know. But here we are. So, the supernatural element of Apollo Crews, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't really even lend itself to being credible because I don't believe that's really Apollo Crews unless he's just not really giving a shit, taking whatever he's given and happy that he's got what he's got because it's better than the main roster. I don't know. This is not Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard's WWE anymore, bro. I think if you go back to the main roster, you'll be treated like Triple H loves you and adores you. Here you are fucking in WWE, and you left the main roster thinking that you were going to find a better way for yourself in NXT, and here they are giving you fucking supernatural powers where your eyes are bleeding. Give me a fucking break with this shit. So, I don't know what the gimmick is. I don't know where they're going with it. Everything just seems fucking confusing. Everything about this seems confusing. Storyline isn't really all that good either, and I don't really give a shit about most of this. And the match itself went about 10, 11 minutes or so. The casket match was not all that entertaining, and there was a very confusing part of this match that even everybody on Twitter was like, I don't think they really thought this one through. So let's get into it. A little back and forth exchange at the start of the match. Apollo Crews got the upper hand with a big acai moonsault. Apollo Crews is great. Apollo Crews is fucking great. This gimmick sucks. So Apollo was beating down Waller on the announce table. Waller grabbed the pen. He stabbed Apollo in the face with the pen. Uh-oh, don't make his eyes bleed. This allowed him to gain control of the match. He was keeping up on his attack on Apollo on the outside because there is no count out. There's no disqualification. So they could do whatever they want. So they're on the top rope. They're going back and forth, lobbying for position on the top rope. Waller pushed Apollo. This is where the confusing part comes in. We're about halfway through the match. There's a casket, it was like a Darby Allin AEW casket that it uses for a casket match on AEW television. So they're lobbying on the top rope for position, and Greyson Waller shoves Apollo Crews off the top rope, and he lands through the ladder. He goes through the fucking door of the ladder, and he lands in the ladder. He's basically in the I keep saying ladder. The casket. Jesus fucking Christ. Not so much I give a fuck about this match. He lands off the top rope through the fucking casket, right? He goes right through the door of the casket. Greyson Waller jumps down from the top rope. He puts his hands in the air. He's like, I won the match. I won the match. He's laying in the casket on his back, and he's through the fucking casket. I think I won the match. The referee's looking. He doesn't know what to fucking do. Referee's confused at what's going on here. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Basically, what happened here was that Greyson Waller won the match, and WWE basically fucked up here. Whoever thought of this is why I said Triple H needs to come back and really start fucking cleaning house, man. Shawn Michaels is not cutting it as main guy on NXT. This looked and felt and sounded like a goddamn fucking Bruce Pritchard production. How does this make the cutting room floor? Greyson Waller shoves this fucking guy off the top rope. He lands through the fucking door of the casket, which is closed. He lands in the fucking casket. The whole fucking point of the match is that he's got to lay in the fucking casket with the door closed. He's basically got the fucking door closed on him, and he's laying there, and the referee doesn't know if Greyson Waller wins the match or not. So Greyson Waller's roaming around the ring, and all of a sudden the lights go out, and then all of a sudden the lights come back on, and Apollo Crews is not laying in the casket anymore. He's standing in the aisleway surrounded by druids. This show sucks. This show sucks. He's surrounded by druids. We got this eerie music playing. He's walking out to the ringside area again, and the druids have another casket. And they say it's a double deep, double wide casket. This casket was 3 times the size of the original casket. And this time, this is the casket that they are going to get to the conclusion of the match with. So Apollo had recovered. He basically no-sold the fucking bump off the top rope through the casket. He attacked Waller with steel steps. I don't know what the fuck is going on here. There's a new casket set up at ringside. Waller eventually got Apollo fully in the casket. Apollo fought back when Waller tried to shut the door. They both escaped the casket when they were both laying in it. Apollo landed a diving crossbody on Waller out to the floor. Apollo had Waller nearly in the casket, but Waller hit a rolling cutter to basically escape death here. Apollo recovered, hit a double knee facebuster, and nearly shut Waller into the casket. He eventually won when he choke slammed Waller into the casket, a la very Undertaker-like, closed the casket door, and he wins the match. This was one of the worst things of the entire night. Apollo Crews is so good, and he is being treated like a fucking jobber, honestly. And then I got to hear fucking Booker T say that Apollo Crews is good enough to be a world champion on any promotion on any night. That may be true, but with this gimmick, absolutely not. Absolutely not. They are doing Apollo Crews dirty. And I don't know why Apollo Crews needs to be on NXT when we know how good he is. he should be brought back up to the main roster with the new administration now running things on Monday and Friday night. Yet he's over here and he's got a supernatural gimmick where he writes in a journal and his eyes fucking bleed because Shawn Michaels has a fucking desire to watch mummy flicks with Brendan Fraser. This shit sucks. I don't know how anybody could sit there and tell me that this match was enjoyable. This shit reeked of fucking main roster illogical booking, man, a.k.a. Bruce Pritchard. I don't know how that creative decision made the cutting room floor with what they did when Waller knocked Apollo off the top rope into the casket, and they thought, well, we'll just restart the match. You basically defeated the purpose of a casket match, and you disrespected the one match that The Undertaker has always thrived in outside the 1994 Royal Rumble, where he was beaten fucking 20-on-1 in a casket match against Yokozuna and then resurrected to the fucking heavens. But this match was a disrespectful homage to what the casket match meant to the WWE and The Undertaker's career. We got a Chase U segment. Chase U had a segment backstage where Andre Chase ran down people who did not know their Halloween Havoc statistics. He ran down people not knowing where Halloween Havoc 1995 took place, calling them the drizzling shits. I wish I had a teacher that was calling my class the drizzling shits, man. I would find that to be very entertaining. Chase revealed that Duke Hudson has become a transfer student to Chase University. Bodie Hayward was irate before he went up and told Andre Chase that he did not trust Duke Hudson. So it looks like they're setting up a Duke Hudson versus Bodie Hayward NXT feud. Bodie Hayward tried to get some of his NXT knowledge out there. He got his questions wrong, and Duke Hudson made him seem like an unintelligent geek, where Andre Chase says, yes, I don't trust Duke Hudson either, but please make sure you come to class prepared next week. We got a vignette with Pretty Deadly, the NXT Tag Team Champions, Elton Prince and Kit Wilson. They were interviewed backstage before calling themselves the best tag team in NXT. They may be the only tag team in NXT at this point. I don't know what other tag team in NXT exists at this point. It's them and the Creed brothers, and that's it. And Schism. Or the fake Smoking Guns, too, right? Whatever the fuck their names are. Ridiculous. What a terrible tag team division NXT has. NXT's women's tag team champions, Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, confronted Pretty Deadly to argue that their statements were not correct. The ladies thought that they were the best tag team champions in NXT. Don't know how we compare, but here we are comparing women's and men's tag team champions. I don't know what that says about Pretty Deadly. It kind of sounds like to me that the ladies are basically calling Pretty Deadly women's tag team champions. That's the way I interpreted it. Let me check the chat here, man. We got 1350 in the venue. I appreciate you guys very much. Thank you so much for joining me here on this Saturday evening. I know this show sucks, man, but we're having a good time. We're having a good time. Let's move on. We're going to Weapons Wild match with Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. I am a big fan of Roxanne Perez, man. I think she's got a good, good look. Roxanne Perez. So does Cora Jade. But, what the fuck is a Weapons Wild match? Basically a no DQ match. Basically an Extreme Rules match. WWE wants to get fucking cute with their play on words. Weapons Wild. What's a Weapons Wild match? Basically a no DQ match. But they got to make it sound a little bit more intimidating for the ladies out there. Weapons Wild, right? This is basically what Ronda Rousey and Liv Morgan should have been at Extreme Rules and was not, because that match sucked. Now, this match was not good, I would say. Not as good as fucking check marks on social media made it out to be. They made it out to be the fucking greatest women's match of all time. It was not, okay? It was good, but the ending was absolutely fucking so lame. So lame was the ending. So, Perez is out there with a skateboard. She takes a skateboard and she uses this skateboard as a way to kind of tease Cora Jade because that used to be her weapon of choice, right? So Cora Jade's out there with her kendo stick and Roxanne is out there with her skateboard, and Perez tossed Jade's bat out of the ring with a tiny little skateboard that she's carrying around, or looked to be bigger than Roxanne, to be quite honest with you. This was before Perez started chasing down Jade on ringside or around ringside with the skateboard. Perez hit Jade with the skateboard. Eventually, Perez hit a drop toe hold on Jade onto the skateboard. This was before Perez tossed Jade to the outside by rolling her onto the skateboard. Perez hit a tope suicida on Jade to the outside. Perez placed a table on the barricade. Perez then pulled Jade from underneath the ring where she was trying to hide. And this is where Jade comes up spraying Perez with some sort of spray. Vic Joseph said it was some sort of bug spray, I believe he said, or some antibacterial spray in the face before tossing her into the barricade on the outside. Jade brought lots of chairs and a trash can into the ring. Jade hit Perez with the trash can before she placed the trash can over Perez and started double stomping Perez with the trash can over her head. She started kicking the trash can with Perez. Perez is so small that she almost fit in the entirety of the trash can. So Jade hit Perez with a bull rope as well, which I guess goes with the Weapons Wild stipulation. There was a fucking bull rope out there before trying to choke her out with the bull rope on a camel clutch maneuver. Jade got a chain, this steel chain, and she tried to hit Perez with the chain. Perez was leaned up against the steel steps, but Perez evaded, and Cora Jade smashed the chain against the steel steps, which kind of led to an opening where Roxanne started to get some offense in. Perez hit a Luthez press on Jade off the stairs before catching her with a big uppercut. Perez attacked Jade with Jade's kendo stick before hitting a stick-assisted Russian leg sweep on Jade for a near fall in the ring. Perez hit two big corner uppercuts and went for a code red, which she calls pop rocks. That's her finishing move. But Jade evaded and launched Perez into the corner before hitting a big knee strike on Perez for a near fall of her own. Jade got to the top rope, but Perez met her up there and hit a Frankensteiner, which did not look all that good for a near fall. Jade got out of the ring, and she went all the way up into the crowd and climbed into what they call the Raven's Nest, that little perch, that little nest looking over the Timekeeper's area on NXT in the Performance Center. So they're up in this Raven's Nest, and they brawled on the nest. And all of a sudden, we start getting these two ladies brawling up there. One of the parts of the barricade is off now. So they're brawling on the nest before Jade hits Perez with a big body slam on Perez right onto the Raven's Nest above the Timekeeper's area. Jade took off one of the fences or the barricades, like I said, that were up there and tried to launch Perez off the Raven's Nest down below. We didn't know what was down below. All we saw was a shot from above of the two ladies battling on the Raven's Nest. So we start getting Perez battling back. She's punching away at Jade, and Jade is selling, going off the Raven's Nest, falling down below. And then all of a sudden, we get Roxanne Perez hesitating the final punch that is going to knock Cora Jade off this Raven's Nest, right? And all of a sudden, she puts her fist down, and she doesn't want to do it. And this goes in line with everything that we've seen Roxanne Perez do. She doesn't want to beat up her best friend. She doesn't want to attack her best friend. She doesn't want to brutalize her best friend. Meanwhile, Cora Jade doesn't give a fuck what she does to Roxanne Perez as long as she wins the match. And then we got Roxanne Perez not wanting to do any harm to who she used to call a friend, right? She throws up a fist. She puts the fist down. All of a sudden, it looked like, to me, from my vantage point, it looked like she went in for a hug. Now, I know she did, but the execution of this was absolutely fucking abysmal. She put her fist down, and she goes to, I guess, charge at Cora Jade, and they both go falling off the Raven's Nest through a bunch of crash pads down below and through a table down below. And they're both laying there, and the crowd is chanting, "Holy shit, holy shit, Holy shit. Jade continued to, both of them get up. They fall off the Raven's Nest, which got to be about, 10, 15 feet up? They fall off the Raven's Nest through a fucking table down below, and they both get up immediately, basically no-selling the fucking spot to get to the end of the match. So they both get up. Jade went for a double underhook DDT on Roxanne. Perez hit a back body drop on Jade onto the stack of chairs that was in the ring already from earlier. Perez then hit pop rocks on Jade on the stack of chairs. She gets the 1, 2, 3, and she wins the match. The Raven's Nest spot was so fucking terribly executed that it actually ruined the entire moment that they tried to create. The landing was fine. The landing was okay. I don't mind the landing. They took a nice little landing, even though there was visible crash pads down below, and they crashed through the table down below. They crashed through the fucking table down below, and that looked good. But my God, man, I don't know what the fuck they tried to do. It's almost as if they think of these cool things to do, and then they don't really understand if it's going to work or not until both of them actually get in that situation in front of a live audience. Now, it would have looked better. I don't know if they were afraid that they were going to overshoot it. It might have been a situation where they felt like if they made any wrong step that they might have undershot it or overshot it. So that's why I felt like it came off the way that it did. But if they wanted to really do something like that, they should have did it at a lower elevation, and they should have let Cora Jade stand there like she did, with Roxanne getting a little bit of a head of steam and then spearing her off the fucking Raven's Nest a little bit lower than where it was through the tables down below. It would have looked 1,000 times better. And we've seen that spot done 1,000 fucking times. Yet they do it here and they made it look like fucking amateur. It looked like complete shit. And it honestly ruined the entire moment that it was supposed to create. And that goes in line with a lot of what NXT does. They do everything half-assed. And this is the second time in this feud, which is thankfully fucking over, the second time in this feud where something really didn't go right that should have looked great. If you guys remember when Cora Jade first turned heel on Roxanne Perez, which didn't make any fucking sense to begin with, none of it made sense. They won the tag team titles, and then 1 week later, she turned heel. Didn't make any sense. She takes out the skateboard, and the skateboard breaks in midair as if it's made of fucking cardboard. Right from that moment, you knew this feud was doomed to fail. Basically, the best thing about this feud is now that it's over. Honestly, Roxanne Perez is leagues beyond Cora Jade. Roxanne Perez should be on the main roster, and Cora Jade should not be on the main roster. Tale of two cities. Roxanne Perez was on SmackDown last week in a 6-man tag, or 6-woman tag. Pardon, 6-woman tag team match. She looked great. She stood out over everybody else. All of Damage Control were in the match. She stood out over everybody in Damage Control. Yet Cora Jade, though I will say she's 1,000 times better as a heel. She's much more believable as a heel because I honestly think the way she plays a heel is what she really is in her personal life. She's that way. So I think those true colors are actually making her a better character. But as far as her in-ring work, man, it's all fluff. It's all fluff. It's basically Liv Morgan. It's Liv Morgan on NXT. There's no impact to anything she does. None whatsoever. You can give her a kendo stick. You could give her fucking Enter Sandman by Metallica. You can turn her into the modern day fucking Sandman. It's not going to change my mind. It's all fluff and no impact, and that's the problem with Cora Jade. Roxanne Perez wins, and that's it. Roxanne Perez, in my honest opinion, with what we saw after the women's match with Alba, Fyre, and Mandy Rose, there's no doubt in my mind that Roxanne Perez is going to be the new women's champion by the end of the year going into 2023. Mark my words. It's going to happen. There was a vignette, a very interesting vignette. Take a sip of my cold beverage here, man. It's hot in here. Must be all that Roxanne Perez talk. There was a vignette of a man who we did not see toss a mask into the fire, teasing a debut, or in this case, return to NXT. The mask was clearly the mask of Donovan Dijakovic or Dijak or T-Bar. This was the mask of T-Bar burning whatever remnants of retribution that were left, burning his mask. It looks like Dijak is making a return to NXT, which I actually am very saddened by. He's another guy that clearly is well beyond NXT, and he should really be one of the men who should have been enlisted for Judgment Day. I do think that Donovan Dijakovic or Dijak or whatever the fuck you want to call him would have been perfect in Judgment Day. I do. That would have given him a new lease on life. But here we are moving him back down to NXT, and it looks like, you know, the things and the decisions that they make, I honestly feel like they want to get some black and gold back on Tuesday night, but the people writing the show are just fucking awful. They're just terrible. So we'll see how this plays out, I guess. T-Bar is burning his fucking past, and hopefully we see a little bit more of that old Donovan Dijakovic or Dijak that we saw on NXT during the black and gold era when he was having those bangers for the North American Championship with Keith Lee. Shotzi. She came out to the ring dressed as Beetlejuice. I have no problem with this whatsoever. In fact, it was Shotzi that actually saved this segment, man. Her entire outfit basically saved this segment. Shotzi came to the ring to recap what had happened on the show so far, which has been very mid. And she wondered where her co-host was and why he was absent from co-hosting duties. He should have remained absent. Quincy Elliott made his way to the ring dressed as, and I kid you not, folks, he was dressed as a sexy banana, is what they called him. A sexy banana was Quincy Elliott. Shotzi then called Elliott the sweetest banana she had ever seen. And then all of a sudden, Listen, man, I may need my glasses for that. I can't. Well, what does this say here, man? I can't see what does this say, man? Bro, listen, bro, come on, man. Listen, man, my glasses, they're Oakleys, bro. I can't see what the fuck this says, man. What is her name? Listen, bro, listen, man, I can't hear you, bro. I can't hear you. The venue's packed, okay? I gotta come over there, okay? Hold on a sec. What is her name? Trash Legend, that's right. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Listen, man, I'll get it right next time, man. I'll get it. Trash Legend. Trash, right? Yeah, I got it. Don't worry about it. I'm not gonna fuck it up next time, man. I got you. All right, listen, man. Buy the venue a shot on me, bro. Okay, just fuck off, man. Trash Legend. That's her name. Trash Legend. Yes. Okay. Good. Just want to make sure we got it right, man. Right? Trash Legend. Right? Trash Legend shows up, and she confronted Shotzi and the sexy banana. Yet I'm supposed to think this is an NXT show. It's like I'm watching fucking Impact. Shotzi and the sexy banana are confronted by Trash Legend. I got you, man. I got it. I know what it is, bro. So we get these three in the ring, and Quincy, the sexy banana, tells Trash Legend to take her shoes off and walk her ass back to the locker room. She should have never emerged from the locker room. I don't know why anybody asked for her on their show. Legend, Trash Legend, said that she was mad at Shotzi for hosting the show. I mean, man, if you got a gun to my head, man, Trash Legend and Shotzi Blackguard, man, who are you going to choose? Man? I know most of you will choose right. Nobody's going to choose Impact. So Quincy told Legend, not Legend, that her talking made everyone's experience worse. Listen, bro, listen. I may think you're fucking cringe, but comment of the evening by the sexy banana. Shotzi hit a DDT on not Legend as Elliot shouted, "World Star." Shotzi and Elliot danced in the ring as this fucking terrible fucking segment came to a close. Yet you want people to watch NXT, yet I got fucking sexy banana out there chanting "World Star" and trash Legend and the sexy banana sharing TV time. Apparently the sexy banana was upset with what I said on social media. Somebody hand me the bleach, please. Do we make old fashions with bleach in the venue? Seriously, make mine a double, please. And it's fall. Maybe some pumpkin spice? Apparently he was upset with what I said on social media. Get with the fucking program, bro. I don't give a fuck, okay? This is not my NXT. You want to fucking do this shit? Go somewhere else. This shit is actively making the show that much worse. Yet I got people telling me, well, you loved Goldust. Well, you loved Velveteen Dream. Give me a fucking break, bro. Dustin Rhodes is a fucking legend. Velveteen Dream could have been a legend. This is not Velveteen Dream, and this is not Goldust, okay? Give me a fucking break with this shit. This shit sucks. This guy's got such a small ceiling. Jesus fucking Christ. I got claustrophobia. This guy's got such a fucking small ceiling. He will go nowhere. Mark my words. This shit is fucking beyond anything I could have ever fucking conceived for NXT. Holy shit. Sexy fucking banana. I'm gonna dress as a sexy fucking banana. I'll tell you right now. I'll dress as a sexy fucking banana for Halloween. How about that? Shit sucks. I love bananas, bro. Last time I buy fucking bananas. Take a little break here, man. Let me see you guys get this sort of entertainment from the other fucking geeks that are alive now talking about this Halloween Havoc. Hit that thumbs up, guys. Hit that thumbs up. Tonight's show sponsored by my great friends over at Honey. JoinHoney.com/offthescripts. Thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past. Honey is the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your card. Honey supports over 30,000 stores online. They range from sites that have tech, gaming products, popular fashion brands, and even fucking bananas. Imagine you're shopping online for bananas. When you check out, the Honey button drops down and all you have to do is click apply coupons. Within a few seconds, Honey searches for coupons it finds for that site. If Honey finds a working coupon for your bananas, you're going to watch the prices of your bananas drop. Now, I don't really shop for food online. I usually shop for my little fur babies, my little Bacardi, and my little Bailey. You guys know. Toys, litter, cat beds, cat trees, whatever the hell they need. I save all of the money that I spend on them. I save using Honey. Every month. Honey has found over 17 million members, over $2 billion in savings, and if you don't have Honey, man, you're straight up missing out. You don't want to miss saving money on your bananas. It's free, it installs in seconds, and by getting it, you're doing yourself a solid and doing me a solid and you're supporting the podcast, man. I would never recommend anything I don't use, so get Honey for free and join the many millions using Honey at joinhoney.com/offthescript. I want to thank them for once again sponsoring the podcast right here on OTS as we listen to the sweet sounds of Andy James, bruh. Moving on. Joe Gacy and the Dyad cut a promo backstage with a mysterious red-hooded figure. Gacy revealed that the red-hooded figure would reveal themselves on Tuesday's NXT before promising that what they do now is everyone's fault. Now, I don't know who this red-hooded figure could be. Some people were claiming that it's Isla Dawn from NXT UK. Some people were like, it could be Nikki Trash, right? I got you. Nikki Trash. Yeah, it's like Trash Lunch, man. They're sisters, right? Tell me they're sisters, bro. Nikki Trash or Nikki Cross. We could see a return of Nikki Cross on NXT. Maybe that is who is under the red hood in the dyad. So, whoever it is, man, I'm not really expecting much out of the dyad because, to be honest with you, the dyad is fucking lame. And he's nothing more than a bargain basement Bray Wyatt. Ambulance match. Julius Creed against Damon Kemp. If Julius Creed loses, Brutus must leave NXT. They already booked themselves into a corner with this one. Why would we even contemplate breaking up the Creed brothers? I don't get it. It's like they gave you the outcome of the match before we even got to the conclusion of the match. So, the match itself was fine. It was high action. They tried to make it as memorable as they could. They were both excited about having a good match. We got this match ending up being pretty decent, and this was the most decent match outside of the Open that we've got up until this point. It was the Open and then this one. So they start the match, and Julius came right out of the start of the match, disarming Damon Kemp, who had a chair in his hand, hitting a head and arm suplex out of the gate onto the floor. They start moving to the backstage area. By the way, it's an ambulance match. The winner of this match has to throw the other into the back of an ambulance. You guys know the deal. They moved to the backstage area where the ambulance was set up. Julius nearly shut Kemp into the ambulance right away, but Kemp blocked the door from shutting with a crutch and used it to attack Julius. They started heading back towards the ring here, and Julius recovered by spraying Kemp with a fire extinguisher. Kemp fired back with a back suplex on the floor and tossed Julius into the steel steps. They started moving back into the ambulance direction, where Kemp sent Julius into the vehicle and nearly got it closed. Julius started to come back and fire up and drove Kemp into the ring post back inside the ring. Kemp planted Julius on the steel steps with a huge spine buster. On the outside, Julius fought back and trapped Kemp in a wheelchair. He locked him in with a crutch before sending him into the steel steps. They fought back for control. Out of the stretcher, there was a stretcher on the outside. This led to Kemp sending Julius into the steel post once again. They started throwing things at each other. They threw the ring bell at each other and other various weapons that were laying about. Kemp dropped Julius into a laundry cart and repeatedly pushed it into the ambulance. He then threw Julius back into the ambulance, but Julius would not let Kemp shut the door, putting his fingers in the way. This is when Julius had his hands and fingers slammed into by the door. This is a badass motherfucker, man. I actually enjoyed this. It's one of those little things, little details, attention to detail that really makes a performer a gutsy one. Because having your fingers slammed the way Julius did in this match towards the end, I mean, any human being would have been fucking screaming in pain, man. That is a very sensitive part of the fucking human body. So he was getting those fingers slammed by the door. Julius, just a burst of adrenaline. No sold everything. They sold it as a burst of adrenaline. Julius exploded out of the ambulance and slammed Kemp through a table. He repeatedly took it to Kemp with chair shots to the back and dropped him onto a stretcher before clotheslining him through a chair. Julius carried Kemp to the ambulance in the stretcher and slammed it shut, threw him in there, slammed it shut, and won the match. So the Creed brothers are not going anywhere. They are still a part of the NXT brand. This was fun for what it was. And at the end of the match, his brother Brutus and Ivy Nile came out to celebrate, and that was pretty much the end of the match. The ambulance drove away and left the arena here after the match was over. Fun stuff. Not going to recommend you guys go out and watch it. It's not some sort of classic, but it was fun. Julius looked good. Julius looked really good. Damon Kemp looked good. They are grasping what they have to do slowly but surely every single week. I don't find them terribly entertaining, but that doesn't mean that they know or that doesn't mean they don't know what to do. They are so young and young enough that they will, at the end of all of this, grasp this completely. And I think they both really shine tonight. The only thing is I don't terribly care about the breakup of Diamond Mine or somebody from within who sold out Diamond Mine and betrayed It was a dead group. When Stokely Hathaway left Diamond Mine, it was basically dead to rights. Nobody really gave a shit about it. Roddy was not going anywhere under the old administration. Diamond Mine wasn't really feeling the same way. And it doesn't feel the same way, even with Roddy kind of, operating with Shawn Michaels now in charge and Triple H now in charge. It doesn't feel like Diamond Mine is going to get back to where it needs to be. And it never really was anywhere it needed to be, because it was nothing more than just something for Roddy to do because he didn't have Undisputed Era. So it is what it is. They both did very good tonight. This was probably the best match next to the opening of the show up until this point. So Julius beats Damon Kemp in the ambulance match, and hopefully this ends the feud and both guys can move on to something else. So we see the ambulance drive away, and all of a sudden Mandy Rose pulls up in her white Range Rover, but Alba Fyre is driving it. Rose tried to escape into the building by exiting the back seats of the car, and they both fought their way into the ringside area. No referee was there immediately. Referee was there all of a sudden, and no toxic attraction. So we were getting this women's championship match starting, and it is what it is. We got this fucking horror movie, cringe-like horror scene, which was basically more than what we got here in the actual match. And we got about 6 minutes of Mandy Rose and Alba Fyre for the NXT Women's Championship, which doesn't terribly make me care about the Women's Championship and what they built up until this point. So I'm gonna be brutally honest with you about Mandy Rose. I said I was gonna address Mandy Rose and Bron Breakker. Two different stories here, because Bron Breakker is seemingly legit. And Mandy Rose is somebody that WWE wants you to think is legit, but in my eyes is not really legit. You can't really compare the two. Both title reigns are stale right now. They are absolutely stale. Where Bron Breakker is winning matches on his own, he's winning matches through grit and hard work, and he's looking good while doing it. Mandy Rose is looking good, and that's it. Now, I'm not saying that Mandy Rose hasn't done great, because where Mandy Rose was a year ago, 2 years ago, to where we see Mandy Rose now, it's a completely different Mandy Rose. She's a lot better in the ring, and she's found herself with Toxic Attraction, which has done absolute fucking wonders to make her a notable name on the women's roster, okay? So it's not all doom and gloom. It's not all bad for Mandy Rose. But the thing is, every single match that Mandy Rose has had has been the same exact thing. Mandy Rose wrestles, Mandy Rose wins due to outside interference from either JC Jane or Gigi Dolan. Every single feud she's been in, every single title match, She has not won a single fucking match on her own without the help of Toxic Attraction. Every single time. There may be one thrown in there. I'm not really sure what had happened with B. Priestley or Blair Davenport and Meiko Satomura at the Worlds Collide show. I don't remember if she won that one clean. That may have been the only one that she's won clean. But every single time she's in there defending her title, she needs the help of Toxic Attraction. And it's just fucking boring. It's boring. It leads, and this is the problem, and this is the sad thing. People don't realize this. WWE is force-feeding you that Mandy Rose is on one historic title reign because she's held the title for well over a year, and she's the greatest NXT Women's Champion of all time, and the most dominant female in NXT. No! No, she's not. There's no fucking way you're going to sell me on Mandy Rose over a Shayna Baszler. There's no way you're going to sell me over a Bayley. There's no way you're going to sell me over a Asuka. Give me a fucking break, will you? How fucking dare they even throw that out there on commentary? What a ridiculous fucking statement to make. Where those women won fucking matches because of them and through actual fucking wrestling and no interference, we got Mandy Rose being touted as the greatest female women's NXT champion of all time. Give me a break. This is where WWE fails. Heels do not need to cheat every single fucking time to retain a title. Heels don't need to cheat every single time to win a fucking match and retain their championship. How do you think this looks? When I look back at Mandy Rose, you want to know what I think of first when I think of Mandy Rose? How she's transcended herself from what we saw on the main roster to the gimmick that she has now. Do you think that I think about her title reign? Absolutely not. Name me one memorable moment in the Mandy Rose title reign. Name me one match that is going to be looked at as a fucking match where people go back and watch and are inspired by and transcends WWE history, making it the greatest title reign of all time. There isn't one. Yet I'm supposed to believe, because the geeks online are fucking easily manipulated, that WWE is telling them that Mandy Rose is the greatest female women's champion in NXT history. No. No. It's lame, it's boring, it's fucking sad, it's pathetic, and it's lazy. WWE could do a lot better with Mandy Rose, yet all they want to do is the same old fucking distraction, fucking interference, and this and that. Meanwhile, a lot of people, this is why I said in the beginning, most of the people that enjoy this NXT do not remember the Sasha Banks of NXT, Bayley of NXT, Asuka, Shayna Baszler, Kairi Sane, Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai, Ember Moon. The list goes on and on and on and on, yet I'm supposed to think Mandy Rose is the greatest of all time. No, I'm sorry. We've hit a wall with Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose should have dropped the championship tonight. And she did. Mandy Rose is still your NXT Women's Champion because WWE can't let their precious blonde lose the championship for whatever reason. This is why I said Roxanne Perez is going to win the Women's Championship at what WWE is calling NXT Deadline on December 10th. And if she doesn't drop that championship to Roxanne Perez, I don't know what the fuck we're doing. Either Roxanne Perez or Nikita Lyons, one or the other. Alba dominated at the start of the match until Rose got an opening by pushing Alba off the top rope. Rose was in control for most of the match, being that she's been kidnapped and fucking abducted and scared out of her mind by Alba Fyre for most of the show. Clotheslines led to a double down. Rose hit a spine buster for 2. Alba Fyre came back with a big power bomb for 2. She climbed the ropes, hit a beautiful looking swanton, but both Toxic Attraction, Gigi Dolan and JC Jane, pulled the official out of the ring, which should have led to a DQ. You put your hands on an official. by stopping the pinfall. Where's the disqualification? Alba super kicked Jane into the official, and Dolan hit a gory bomb, Alba Fyre rather hit a gory bomb. JC Jane and Gigi Dolan took out Alba. This led to Mandy Rose hitting the Kiss the Rose knee for the 1, 2, 3, and that was it. Lame. Absolutely. They muddied all of what they did for Alba Fyre to get this match. They basically and blatantly hid everything because they wanted Mandy Rose to retain. They basically gave you a fucking horror-themed cinematic match and gave you more of that than they actually gave you an in-ring match to hide Mandy Rose's deficiencies in the ring. Fucking garbage. Absolute garbage. Alba Fyre should have won, yet Mandy Rose retains the championship. She's still the NXT Women's Champion. We got Zoe Stark and Nikita Lyons. They were backstage. Zoe Stark talked about her journey in Lions. Should she do it for her? Malik Blade and Idris Enofe appeared, and these two teams hyped each other up about their title matches on Tuesday. Oh, joy. Oh, joy. I can't wait. I can't wait for 2 tag team title matches I don't give a fuck about. Shotzi Blackheart will go on NXT next week and wrestle Trash Legend. Thank God I'm not reviewing this show. Pretty Deadly versus Malik Blade and Idris Enofe, and Kaden Carter and Katana Chance versus Zoe Stark and Nikita Lyons. NXT Championship match. Thank fucking Christ we're here. Bron Breakker, Ilja Dragonov, and JD McDonagh. The fake JD. The Irish Ace, but I'm the New York Ace. JD McDonagh. Excellent main event. Probably Bron's best match to date. And a lot of this had to do with Ilja Dragunov being in the ring. This was fucking awesome. So Dragunov and McDonagh have a history, and that's what basically is being sold here with Bron Breakker being the guy to say, I don't give a fuck about you guys. You want a title shot, man? I'm going to give you a title shot. I don't give a fuck who you are. So we got a triple threat match here. Dragunov went right at McDonagh, then Bron did the same, and they ended up fighting for basically the right to beat up JD McDonagh. So we got McDonagh taking advantage of their fighting and targeted Bron. There was a lot of 2-on-1 or 2 in and 1 out situations as they were fighting each other in many different aspects. Bron and Dragunov had a big exchange as McDonagh would try to sneak out with a win with some quick roll-ups. McDonagh tried to get involved between Dragunov and Bron Breakker, but Dragunov cut him off and laid in some hammer and anvil elbows for some close stoppage, but the referee did not stop. He then hit a running Death Valley bomb on McDonagh onto Bron Breakker in the corner before landing a big coast-to-coast dropkick. He basically did the RVD for a very close near fall. So Bron and Dragunov started laying into each other with some shots. There was a big slugfest in the center of the ring. McDonagh basically was happy about him being the last man standing, but Dragunov popped up and ran him out of the ring, chasing him into a backdrop from Bron on the outside. Both Bron and Dragunov traded punches and chops on McDonagh before tossing him out of the ring once again. Dragunov turns his attention to Bron. He fired up with some clotheslines. He pressed Dragunov up, but was cut off by a headbutt from JD McDonagh. They were all down until Breakker and McDonagh made their way to the top turnbuckle. Bron Breakker hit a Frankensteiner, sending McDonagh into Dragunov. Then they all landed strikes on each other. Dragunov took out McDonagh with a senton before Bron sent him to the outside with a spear. McDonagh then hit an acai moonsault on both guys to the outside. Back in the ring, Dragunov powerbombed Bron for a near fall. Took him out with a big forearm for another near fall. Then McDonagh hit a 450 splash on Dragunov. He goes for a near fall. Great shit towards the end of this thing. McDonagh hit Bron with a huge looking brain. Listen, JD McDonagh, you may not like him. He may be a direct fucking duplicate of Finn Balor. But my God, can the guy wrestle? He is so fucking good. He's got one of the prettiest brain busters in the game. Huge brain buster for a near fall on Bron. Dragonov countered with he countered McDonagh's Devil Inside, which is his kind of pull up clothesline that he does. It's not a clothesline, it's a suplex. He pulls him up into that big backdrop suplex. So he countered Devil Inside into some German suplexes. Bron then popped up and hit both guys with a double German. He landed a big diving bulldog on Dragonov off the top, followed up with a military press power slam. But McDonagh pulled him off and covered Dragonov for a great near fall. So he basically let Bron hit his finishing moves, tossed him out of the ring, and then went to go get the cheap win on Ilja Dragonov, but he kicked out. Bron took care of McDonagh and set up for a spear, but Dragonov countered it into a big knee. Dragonov landed a diving senton and landed his torpedo Moscow, which is his finishing move. He covered and had it won. But McDonagh sneaks in under the bottom rope and stopped the official from counting 3. So Ilja Dragonov had hit his devastating finishing move off of, which is basically a spinning elbow at fucking light speed at Bron Breakker. And McDonagh was on the outside. He slides underneath the bottom rope. The referee is counting 1, 2, and then as the referee's hand comes down, McDonagh puts his hand right under the referee and grabs his hand from making the 3 count. It looked great. That was a great spot to keep the match going. Dragonov and McDonagh traded strikes until both left the ring, where McDonagh countered a running clothesline into a Spanish fly on the concrete on the outside. McDonagh then takes a chair, swung it at Dragonov, but Dragonov avoided, landed a big step-up diving headbutt on JD McDonagh. Back in the ring, it was Bron and Dragonov. Dragonov laid in some strikes, but Bron wouldn't go down until Dragonov hit a German suplex and a big lariat. He went once again with JD McDonagh out of the match now. He called for more torpedo Moscow, but he was cut off by Bron, who countered it with a spear. And that was the win. Bron Breakker retains the NXT World title, and he is still the champion. They did tease on Tuesday that Austin Theory would potentially cash in on Bron Breakker. I don't know why Austin Theory would tease about cashing in after months. He went on a fucking campaign saying that he was going to be the youngest WWE Undisputed Universal Heavyweight Champion. All for that to go down to NXT and win the NXT World Championship? That is fucking lame. A, Austin Theory would be downgrading himself, and he makes himself look like a blithering fucking idiot. And 2, he would be basically downgrading. Basically admitting that, I can't beat Roman, so I'm just going to go beat Bron Breakker. So, yeah. They teased that on Tuesday. He comes out holding the briefcase. This match was great. This was easily Bron Breakker's best match. And Bron Breakker has been getting so much better. But why are we running with the same fucking shit? Why? Who is going to beat Bron Breakker? Does Bron Breakker really need NXT? He's done literally everything with that title. He's beaten everybody from NXT 2.0 to NXT UK. He's beaten everybody. And no, don't tell me, it's going to be Carmelo Hayes. No, it's not going to be Carmelo Hayes because that man is ready for the main roster, as is Bron Breakker. But they're running the gambit with Mandy Rose, and she's not losing. Bron Breakker, and he's not losing. It's fucking boring. They've run into a wall with both. And yet here we are, another NXT pay-per-view, and the same fucking people coming out as champions. It's lame. The match itself was fantastic. If there's one match outside the ladder match that you need to go and watch, it's this one. This was great. Bron Breakker excelled. Dragonov is fucking so good. Dragonov is so beyond this brand, it's not even fucking a discussion. He should be on SmackDown feuding with Sheamus and Gunther and Ricochet and whoever else. Drew McIntyre. He should be mixing it up with the fucking studs on the main roster. That's how good he is. Yet he's on NXT mixing it up with fucking babies playing in the fucking children's sandbox on NXT Tuesday night. Same thing with McDonagh. So fucking good. Yes, he does look like Finn Balor to me. Finn Balor trained JD McDonagh. Finn Balor trained JD McDonagh. This show was a great open, terrible, everything in between, and a great end. I wouldn't even call it a hit and miss show. It was not anywhere near a hit and miss, mostly miss, outside of the 2 hits that opened and closed the show. But Mandy Rose and Alba Fyre, garbage. Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez, terribly overrated. It was okay, but my God, that ending sucked. It did. Then you got the fucking Quincy Elliott, Lash Legend, Shotzi Blackheart, garbage. You got Julius Creed and Damon Kemp in the ambulance match, which wasn't bad. Apollo Crews and Greyson Waller, which was fucking ridiculous. If this is a turning point for NXT, keep it. I'm taking the detour. I'm not taking the turn to see what NXT is doing on Tuesday night, man. I'm taking the long way fucking home. That doesn't include NXT. I don't know what we got to start doing, man. Do we got to start blaming Shawn Michaels? Do we have to start ripping Shawn Michaels a new asshole? Does NXT need new writers? I don't know. This show was not good tonight at all. I expected a lot better from this turning point show of Halloween Havoc. Anyway, guys, we're about to get into the super chats. If you guys want to get them on in, please get them on in. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. And make sure you guys go check out today's earlier podcast episode 448 of Off the Scripts. Everything you need coming out of AEW is on today's show, man. An hour and a half of audio and video content. It's the last call, guys. Let's get into the super chats. Remember to hit that thumbs up as well. Let's try for 1,000 likes on today's Halloween Havoc post show right here on OTS. Steve Wynyard with a $20 super chat. I thought that Worlds Collide might be a turning point. I thought the new logo rebrand might be a turning point. I believe it when I see it or when I hear about it because I'm not watching this in its current state. It's garbage, Steve. You are not the only one, brother. It is legit garbage. D Bastardo with a $10 super chat. What's up, buddy? Welcome back. Triple H, TK, let's go. Give us big-time builds to returning characters, main events, stories, groups forming, face turns. AEW just takes turns with the belts. I want the build. AC, baby. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do AC for Rampage, bro. It's Rampage. Tony Brown with a $1.99 super chat. He says, my Mandy me. You know it, brother. It's the best part about Mandy Rose, brother. You know it. Joseph Taylor with $5 super chat. The second best ladder match behind the first one at TakeOver New Orleans. I agree, Joseph Taylor. Sidro. Sidro's got some jokes. $5 super chat. What wakes the new day up every morning? Coffee, Kingston. I like that one, bro. Being that I'm a big coffee connoisseur, man, I like that one. Sidro also with another $5 super chat. What happens when there are 2 WWE superstars but only one bathroom? A bladder match. I like that one too, bro. You coming back with the jokes, bro. I like it. I like it. And Sidro with another $5 super chat. What is the master of the 619's favorite cereal? Mysterios. Much love, my tribal chief. By the way, I think Cody wins the Raw title and Bray wins the other. I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. It's all revolving around Roman, bro. What they decide to do with Roman, when that happens, we'll have a clearer picture. Filthy Slimes with a $9.99 super chat. Which ladder match was better, the one tonight or the triple threat ladder match that Sammy, AJ, and Jeff had for the IC title? Also, hope you enjoyed your vacation, JD. I'm going with this one tonight. Grimsley with a $5 super chat and a $2 super chat. Quincy, get off my TV. After that ending, I see Alba getting another match and winning. Then they will call up Toxic before Mania. Shotzi's looking good. Yes. Shotzi looks good, bro. Shotzi's always look good. Also, Grimsley with a $2 super chat. I find nothing believable with Apollo. I don't know why. Well, it's because it's supernatural, bro. We don't believe Apollo went from Nigerian prince to fucking Zach Bagans all of a sudden. Calvin Rhymes with a $4.99 super chat. Take me back to NXT TakeOver New Orleans. Andrade versus Black and Gargano versus Ciampa were classics. Yeah. Yeah. I miss it. Jarrett Hopfinger with a $2 super chat. Mandy Rose needs to lose. Women's matches are bad. Yes, most of them are. Corey Snyder with a $10 super chat. I'm drinking some Elysian Pumpkin Ale. That Night Owl is awesome, bro. JD, what are your favorite seasonal drinks? Man, Elf and Banana, Nut Beer still, or you got something new these days? Bro, I always love the Elf for the holiday season. Southern Tier Pumpkin, all the same. What a good pumpkin spice old-fashioned, bro. That's what's got me going. James with a $5 super chat. The announcers just straight up kill this show. Booker T was okay, but the other guy, get the fuck off my TV and get out of the Performance Center. That is all. Yeah, Vic Joseph is not good, bro. And neither is Booker T. Booker T is absolutely insufferable to listen to. Fucking insufferable, man. Bradley Robinette with a $1.99 super chat. JD, have you listened to the band Ailstorm? No, I have not. No music discussion tonight because I had a bunch of fucking gatekeeping fucking virgins in my comment section because I said 9 Inch Nails sucks. Fuck out of here, man. You're legitimately comparing Trent Reznor and Miles Kennedy, bro. I can already smell retard emanating off of you. Cut the shit. Holy Devil Kid with a new membership. Thank you, brother. What are you drinking tonight? Joshua Simo with a $4.99 super chat. I would love to see some of these title changes change hands, just like the main roster. Yeah, man, it's getting a little boring. It's getting a little stale. Grimsley with a $2 super chat. Boycott bananas. Yeah. Let's boycott Quincy Elliott. Grimsley, thank you, brother. Hiru with a $5 super chat. Mandy's title reign reminds me of Jinder's title reign. Singh brothers interfered. Jinder retains. It's stale, repetitive, and boring. Get that title off of her. Shit sucks, man. She looks so weak. Oh my God, she's the greatest ever. No, she's not. NC07 with a 2-month membership. Thank you, NC. Goon Squad with the devil horn emojis. Thank you, brother. And Furious Nation. Shucky, ducky, quack, quack. What's up, JD? NXT is just trash, man. No way Triple H is booking this crap. Ilja Dragonov is too good for NXT and should be on SmackDown battling Gunther for the IC title. Same thing with Tyler Bate as well. Yes, Tyler Bate also belongs on the main roster. Tyler Bate is awesome. Wasting his time on this fucking NXT playground, man. It's for little children. It's for fucking people that don't know any better. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for you, man. Hopefully you enjoyed the post-show. Hopefully I did NXT justice. Pretty good for a fucking show we don't watch, huh? Well, maybe I do in my own time. Anyway, guys, I'm about to get out of here, man. I have enough of this NXT bullshit. No more sexy bananas, bro. No more sexy bananas. Let's get into the Mustang and get the fuck out of here. Oh, my goodness. Jordan Grace going to AEW. Rumor looks good. Where did you hear that, Hector Ramos? Where did you hear that? The fuck are they going to do with Jordan Grace, man? They can't even book the women they have correctly. They're going to book Jordan Grace? Tyler with a $4.99 super chat. Sad Triple H got COVID. Hopefully he comes back to work fully recovered very soon. He should be fine, man. There's a 99.5% recovery rate for COVID. Give me a break. Furious Nation with a $20 super chat. Quincy Elliott, in my opinion, is a failure waiting to happen, bro. Guy has no ceiling like Omos. And his Big Daddy V 2.0, not in the right way. Thoughts on Mako Satomura ditching NXT and jumping to SmackDown? I don't think Mako wants to tour with SmackDown, bro. I think Mako is finished with WWE until NXT Europe opens back up. I think Hector Ramos is full of shit, bro. I didn't read that rumor. I was on the dirt sheets all day. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you. Hopefully you enjoyed this NXT post show. I thought we did the show justice tonight. Not a good show. Triple H in his first pay-per-view outing. Failure. Don't know what I'm doing tomorrow, guys. I don't know if I'm doing a traditional upload or if I'm going live, man. I may just do a traditional upload and just save the live streams for the start of the brand new work week on Monday. But I appreciate you guys joining me. Thank you for the super chat love. Thank you for hanging out tonight. I know nobody loves NXT like they used to, but figured it was an important enough show to cover tonight. But I'm going to get some rest. I will see you guys at some point tomorrow. I'll let you know. Just follow the socials. Hit that thumbs up. Let me see those rock on emojis and those Mustang emojis for my VIPs. And I need that music on max. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. NXT sucks. No more sexy bananas. More Shotzi Blackheart. And Shawn Michaels needs to have the pen taken away from him, bro. I'll talk to you guys later.